Okay, going
Trace
live
with
now.
this?
Yeah, with that brush pen.
It's hard enough?
Yeah, both ends are hard enough.
No.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
not trace with that hand.
Try it
On graphite paper?
on graphite paper.
I trust you.
Ooh, what a foolish mistake.
Color me impressed, that's all.
Did you try it?
No.
Oh.
I trust Keenan blindly and completely.
We are live on Facebook, according to Restream.
Hello, Facebook. I mowed my field today.
How was it?
I am so allergy ridden right now.
Oh.
It is killing me. You know what? It is July
Yeah.
almost, and I was cold last night outside. What is happening?
What were you doing outside?
I don't know.
Oh, we went to the movie theater.
That. And it was cold.
In July.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I love a cold night.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I love me some blankets.
It's not that, like, I hated it. It's
Yeah.
just that, like,
It's
usually
shocking.
in July, you're dying of heat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, the reference photo.
Right
Wow.
here.
Yeah, no.
You're saying you look like a Jersey cow. Okay, just clarifying.
You're saying.
So what you're saying is, luckily we have flamin' hot Cheetos tonight.
You left those in my car.
I realized that when
You-
Sarah brought them back.
Yeah. You need to get Brock to get more of those Tostitos, because they don't have those at High Class, because I looked.
Those are delicious.
At Dollar General.
Those are at high class.
Those are at High Class. Praise be.
Praise be.
Okay.
Oh, we're live for the Jersey Cow on YouTube now,
Hello, YouTube.
according to YouTube.
If you haven't watched Chernobyl, go watch Chernobyl. It was great. Chernobyl was great.
Yeah, it
You
was
watched-
great.
I watched it twice.
He did.
I still haven't watched it.
It's on HBO.
It's depressing,
It is.
but good.
But
Still good.
historical?
Put that here so I can see it. I want to
Okay.
read these things too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys look great.
Brush is actually perfect. I was surprised. Oh, hello. Michael is in the house. I'm here.
Barb, you knew.
About an hour ago, Sarah said, Michael, would you like to paint? And I said, okay. Here I am.
I'm not the best at planning sometimes because at 4 o'clock? I was like, oh,
We need people.
we
for the
need
live.
people to paint tonight for the live. It's Tuesday. I spent the entire day forgetting that it was Tuesday.
I think it also came up when I said, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna stay here till the live," and you're like, "Oh, it's Tuesday."
Yeah, that's what, and I was like, oh, painters. Ooh.
I was mowing the farm, so I'm all sniffly from allergies. So
Well, you look great. You're glowing
You are
Stop.
glowing.
I'm pregnant. With emotion.
with emotion.
Baby. Anyways. Hi, Maria. Hello. All right, what are we doing?
Well, we gotta wait for
We
7:15
got
before
3
we
minutes.
get started.
Girl.
I need you to calm down. I know you're so excited to paint, but we gotta
I love
let
cows.
people.
I love cows.
This is gonna be a great time.
I took a world religions class in college, and we did an entire section on Hindus. And they have the cutest cows. They keep them like dogs. They're like, they groom them, and they're like, come inside. It was the cutest thing ever. Ever since then, every time I see, especially a dairy cow, I just love them.
Please don't bring one home.
They're big puppies.
First, you started with chickens.
No.
Now you're gonna have a Jersey cow.
Didn't know a better way to tell you there's a cow at home.
By the way,
It's a calf.
Okay.
oh, Paula says her friend was one of the Russian doctors that tried to help Chernobyl children.
That's very noble and sad.
Very noble
Wow.
and sad.
That is.
The babies.
Molly is watching. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Molly was a movie star for me today. We filmed her pretending that Cindy was her mother.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
that's
Well, that
great.
sounds wonderful.
Yeah, they had to pretend, watch a video on an iPad and laugh and like love each other. It was pretty funny.
That's so great.
I love
I need
pretend
to-
laughing.
I need to paint a chicken for Cindy.
Oh my gosh, she loves
Yes, you
chicken
do.
so much.
I know
she had outfits and stuff, I think, or like
her chickens?
curtains and something crazy.
No, she's the one that told me you can get bracelets with their name on them.
That's what.
And also you can make curtains because they like their like privacy from each other.
They like chickens like their privacy? That's hilarious.
Oh, Suzanne says, Sarah and Michael, what a treat. Suzanne, you're the best. You're the best.
Got that hype man on live.
Suzanne is the best. If you guys don't know Suzanne, she works customer service. She does an excellent job. She also has 2 young girls that
Annie
play
says-
with my girls.
Annie says no one ever says her name, so Annie.
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 Annie, thank you so much for
Annie
being
who?
here. You're so great.
That would be, what was it? Annie Hard.
Annie Hard.
Hard.
So
Taking it easy.
sorry.
Taking it.
Taking it easy with Annie Hard. That should be your podcast. You're welcome.
First time
Highland.
watcher.
Oh, we should do a Highland cattle. Those are the hairy ones.
We will. We're going to do this for a long
Okay,
time.
There are mini Highlanders, and they're like tiny little fur cows,
Wait, how big is tiny though?
like 200 pounds.
So my weight.
So a Keenan?
That's tiny
little-
for a cow.
We'll have
little
a
less
Keenan
than
little
me.
Highland
I
cow.
don't know if you've ever heard this before, but you're a trim-looking cow.
I appreciate it.
You're trim-looking for a cow.
Gail says it's her first time. Welcome, Gail.
Hello, Gail.
Kennedy, it's her first time. Hello.
There are several first timers on. One's from England getting ready to go to bed.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got mother-daughter paint night.
Barbara said that she had a cow that she walked on a leash.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
That's so cute. Was
Anyway.
it a big cow or a miniature cow?
All she said was, I had a cow that I walked on a leash.
So this Hindi
That's all
family,
we need to know.
This Hindi family has this cow inside, and it's laying on his back like a dog, and they're scratching it on the tummy, and its legs are going like this.
That seems dangerous.
I also
They're
heard,
powerful
I don't know if
animals.
this is true, that like cows are not supposed to invert, like something with their stomach acid and the lining, and
Oh, they're not supposed to go like up, like lay on their back?
Yeah.
I didn't know what you meant by invert
but
for a second.
I saw a cow
I
getting
got
belly
nervous.
scratches.
Why did the cow cross the ocean? Oh, dang it, Brock, I did what you did. I mean, Keenan. Sorry.
What?
I tell a joke without knowing what the answer is first, and so we have to wait for them to respond with the answer.
I think it's 7:50.
Is it?
It is. I was just about to say.
Oh, okay, it's time to go. I mean, to do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Make Art. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are doing our Jersey cow painting.
Ooh.
Do you want to try a cow sound like Keenan?
Moo.
Okay, I'm Sarah
I got
Cray. I'll be teaching you this evening. Hello.
I'm Michael Cray, and I won't teach.
He won't. He'll listen. This is my husband, so it's okay if we say nice or mean things to each other because we're married.
Help me. I blinked 3 times.
And we have Keenan on the cameras.
Sweet Kiki,
As per
as we
usual.
call him around here.
Per usual, you'll hear him.
In the background, saying weird things occasionally, possibly. who
including
knows?
facts that are sometimes accurate. I don't know.
Most of the time, not.
Most of the time, not. Okay, so for tonight, we have our cow. We have 6 colors for tonight. We are using pine green, which is like a cool green. So again, if you're painting with us, you don't have to use these same exact supplies. You can use whatever you're using at home. So this is pine green, which is a cooler green, which means it has like bluer undertones than yellow undertones. This is orchid, which is like a pink purple, purple pink, more of a purple pink actually.
Not a pink purple.
Not a pink purple,
Definitely purple
more
pink.
of a purple pink. There is a difference. Like I would say fuchsia is more of a pink purple. Like pink is the main color, purple is the
okay.
undertone. That's why it matters. Okay. We have space blue, which is kind of like a navy or a darker blue a little bit.
Okay.
We have yellow ochre, which is kind of like a brown golden yellow.
Every time I hear okra, I think okra, the
Okay.
weird food,
Yeah.
the hard pickle.
I still don't know if I've ever ever had
I
okra.
think of fried okra
like
every time.
It's like a dry zucchini.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had
like
it.
So good.
It's like a gross pickle.
Gross.
It's like a
Okay, last color.
dirt
Focus.
cucumber.
Last color is lemon yellow, which I feel like is a neutral yellow or a little bit on the cooler side of a yellow. So,
Hi, Lindsay Near.
hi, Lindsay.
I'm guessing that's the last name. Or or Pasquale. I don't know.
I don't know. Aurora's daughter, Lindsay. Hello. Welcome. Okay. So we have 6 steps with this cow.
Oh, geez.
So
That's a lot of steps, right? We're usually like a 3-step family.
No,
12-step
we're a 5 or 6 step family.
This is not my first rodeo.
We break it down
We
to make
break
it simple.
down.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what I do?
What is this again?
Okay.
Is this paint?
Okay, so we're going to start off by putting in our dark values on the head of the cow. Our second step is going to be blending them out and kind of filling the cow's head with color. Third step, we're going to do the nose and the eyes. The fourth step, we're going to do the shadows on the white parts of the face. Fifth step, we're going to paint the body. And the very last step is...
Party.
Details.
What if it was party?
It should be party.
Genius. Michael, you've been here 5 minutes and I'm so happy.
But I've been here all along. It's a secret.
Okay,
Those are
so Debbie called you out. She's like, Michael, have you not been watching? Ooh.
She never lets me out from under the stairs.
Now,
I wish I could.
we're using so many, somebody said, how did you do that picture-in-picture with the video on a live?
It's called a sling. It's a piece of equipment that you hook all your cameras to. It allows you to switch multiple cameras and then broadcast to a stream app called Restream, by which we go to YouTube and Facebook at the same time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do this also.
Well said.
Okay, and we're using so many colors because if you notice in our box, we don't actually have brown or black, and those are the main colors of this cow. So we will have a great color mixing lesson. If it's helpful for you, what I like to do to like help break it down is just do a circle with 6 spaces. They don't need to be even, obviously. And just do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple in them. And then that is going to inform us as we mix what colors you need to mix. So have that handy for you if you're not used to mixing colors. And somebody asked about the Let's Make Art Matter for June. We will be releasing that tutorial this Friday. So it's actually pre-recorded this time, and that's because I have a guest with me, so we pre-recorded it. So that will release this Friday. So keep an eye out for that.
Read this one out loud.
The only time that cows will make noise is when they're in the mood. That's good.
Yep.
Okay, so we are going to do a couple warm-ups. So,
I'm ready to trace, and we're not tracing?
no, wait, yes we are, sorry. We're gonna trace first. Trace first, and then oath, and then warm-ups, and then painting. So,
Yes.
how we like to transfer our outlines onto watercolor paper is we use this thing called graphite paper. It's in your subscription box, folded up in with the postcard, and you can reuse it multiple times, so don't throw it away. So you're going to take your outline and you're going to tape it down onto your watercolor paper using washi tape or painter's tape. Or if you only have regular tape, you can still use it. Just like put it on your jeans or your clothes a few times to pick up some fuzzies so it's not as sticky. And that way it will rip off. Somebody has to see the color wheel, so I'm just going to put that in the middle while we do this. You can also we sell little color wheels for like a couple bucks if you want, and they also include secondary colors, tertiary colors, and it's a great thing to have.
Tertiary is a great word.
It is. It really is. Okay, so after you tape your outline, you are going to take your graphite paper. Now there is a darker, shinier side, and then there's the back. So it's basically the side that has all the graphite on it. That's what you're going to want to put face down. So it's actually touching your watercolor paper.
Shiny side down.
Shiny side down. Or like the part where there's like the actual graphite. It might not be the shiny side. It really depends on which graphite paper you have. Okay.
Would it help to say the darker side?
Usually it's the darker side, but also sometimes if it's old, it's not as dark anymore.
The emo side.
Yeah.
The gothic side.
Okay.
You guys remember gothic? That was a phase.
Yes. So when you trace, I want you to, whatever mark you make on this graphite paper, like on the top, it will transfer to your paper underneath. So start outlining, and then what I like to do is I like to make one line and then pull up and check it and see how dark or light that is. Try and make it as light as you possibly can because watercolor is transparent, so you will see the pencil lines through it. I'm gonna make mine darker so you guys can see what I'm doing while I'm painting. But I actually gave Michael a felt tip marker because if it's, what? Because it's a felt tip marker, it's a softer point. It will like naturally create a lighter thing. And then you can do really, really light pressure to get a lighter line. So do that, and then just start outlining and making your way across your paper. Also keep in mind that if you're resting your hand down hard or pressing down with your fingertips, it will show up on your paper.
I also like to say this every time I'm on here,
Yeah.
but if you use a colored pen to trace, you can see where you've been.
Yes.
It's so much better.
Yes. And another thing about outlines is I like to think of them more as guidelines. So I don't want you to think about this as a coloring book that you just fill in exactly and you have to stay within these marks that we make. That's not what it's supposed to be for. These are guidelines of where the painting ends and begins, and also where there are transitions of value changes. So shadows, highlights, all of those things, but we don't want it to feel color blocky. So
Time out.
yeah.
I'm noticing on this cow outline,
Yeah.
the eyes are solid black.
Don't fill them in solid black.
Don't fill them in solid black.
No, I only did that because people were having a hard time figuring out where the black part of the eye was when we were doing eyeballs. On the black, it's a little easier because the entire thing is black, but like on some of them where the black pupil was, and then I would also mark where the highlight and the shadows were on the eye, it made it really difficult to figure out which was which.
Okay.
So I now started including like coloring in the black part of the eye.
Should I circle the highlights?
I would outline it and circle the highlights, and then they can refer back to the outline of where the black area is actually supposed to be black. That was an idea from, I want to say, Laura Jones, and I thought that was genius.
Lauren Jones?
No, Laura.
Oh, I don't know, Laura. You sound lovely though, Laura.
She is lovely. She's been with us for a long time, and she very talented and supportive.
Typical.
Typical
llama.
Typical llama.
For those of you who don't know, we call you guys llama. We work in a small town. I work for a company, the other company in this town, and we refer to everyone here as llamas because when you say LMA, let's make art really fast, it's llama. And then it just morphed into llama, and then now they're all llamas to us.
So if you see that in our group, that's what that is talking about.
Llama. Kenan,
Yes, sir.
sing me a song. Tell me a fact.
I have no facts, and I will not sing to you on camera.
Keenan, Debbie asked if we paid you yet. Debbie,
Nope.
don't bring it up. He
I've
forgets
been doing
a lot
dishes
of the
at a
time.
local restaurant.
Not yet.
Why do you think his wife started working customer service for us?
We don't pay her either.
She hasn't found that out yet, though. No.
I think I'm done tracing.
Yeah, that looks good.
And we're done.
And then once it's done, just pull it off, put it off to the side. Now, if after you pull it off, you realize that you forgot a line, don't stress out. Just eyeball it, put it in, or it's not a big deal. Remember, it's not a big deal. People love that they're llamas. I know. I've been thinking about doing a llama tutorial.
That would be great.
That would be great.
It would be great. Okay, now before we start on our warm-ups, we're going to do our oath. So if everybody could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you. And I like doing that because sometimes we don't realize we're comparing our work, or sometimes we don't realize that we're stressed out of starting something we're not super familiar with. And also, judgment just kills creativity. It does, whether it's on you or whether it's on someone else. So in this time, we're kind to ourselves. We don't judge each other or ourselves because we're just here to learn, have fun, and maybe get a painting we like at the end.
Do you want another fun fact?
Yes.
I think you're the sweetest person I know.
Oh, thank like you.
I just think you're great.
That's so nice. I'm so glad I married you.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about it.
Okay. So we're using a round 6 and a round 2 paintbrush. So grab those.
And Keith is the small one.
No, we got new ones, and then we haven't decided if we should rename them or what.
Okay.
I've just been calling them round 6 and round 2, but if you want to name yours, you can for tonight.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to practice our values. So in watercolor, actually in painting in general or art, value has nothing to do with the color. It has everything to do with the lightness or darkness of the color. It's super important to have a range of values within your painting if you want to create something with form or something that seems three-dimensional. The really amazing thing about watercolor, why I love it so much, is in order to get a lighter value, all we have to do is add water. That's it. That's why I love it. It's less work because it's just water.
Yep.
So we're going to practice that.
Yep.
So get your paintbrush wet.
6.
6. I'm using my 6, but this is warm up, so you can do whatever you want. Grab an extra sheet or a back of a sheet or whatever. Get your paintbrush wet. Hit it off the side of the cup so it's not too wet. And then pick up a color, any color you want. And you're going to fill your paintbrush with that color. And I just want you to make like a shape. Rectangle or a heart or a circle, or I'll do a circle this time.
Tetrahedron.
What is a tetrahedron?
Tetrahedron, I think it's
Tetrahedron?
I think it's a multi-sided thing.
Multi-sided
Like
thing.
If you took a rectangle and put it on its side,
I don't know.
like tilted the top of the rectangle down. Is that a tetrahedron?
You brought it up.
No idea.
You said the word.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I know
Okay.
what shape a stop sign is.
So this is our dark value. Now I'm going to rinse my paintbrush a couple of times, which means I'm just going to dip it in my water 1, 2, 3 times, hit it off the side of my cup, and do my next circle next to it.
It's a triangle with like a triangle star in it. It's a 3D triangle.
It's a 3D triangle.
Down on a pyramid.
Rhombus. Cassandra, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, thank you, Cassandra. Okay, so this is more of a medium value. So see how they're different lights and darknesses from each other? That's only by adding water.
What is the name of this lovely green again?
Pine green.
That's a good green.
I know, it's also Brock's favorite green. Okay,
And I hate it.
rinse again,
Just kidding.
and then do your last circle. So this is a light value. So when we are putting in, and you can see here that we have this full range. We have dark values here, we have medium values here, and we have really light values here. Okay, so it's important to have all three. Lena wants to know if that's Keenan's painting. No, this is Michael, my husband. Keenan is doing camera work.
Come over here.
Come say hi, Keenan.
Come right here.
I haven't gotten a
We need a family
haircut in
portrait.
so
A
long.
family portrait.
I look so rough.
Here.
Look at me.
Here, child. Michael, sweet Kiki, also known as Keenan.
Thank you.
And the lovely Sarah.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed immediately.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
I
Knowing
kept
is
that
half
on
the
the
battle.
small frame on accident, but it's fine
That's
for me.
fine. Just look in the picture to know what Keenan looks like. Okay. Oh, Helen wants to know what your favorite Death Cab
Brothers on
for
a
Cutie
hotel
song.
bed,
Brothers.
hands down. From the Plans album, last song.
Okay. Good question, Helen. Helen, you're also amazing. Okay.
Is this a Helen I met?
Yes.
Hi, Helen.
So this is our three values. Now we're also going to do a value transition. So these are our three separate values, and then now we're going to try and make it smooth. So grab your paintbrush, get it wet, hit it off the side of the cup. Grab some paint, any color you want. It doesn't have to be the same. I'm going to go up and down like this, rectangle, and I'm going to work fairly quickly. So here's my dark value. Dip my brush a couple of times right where I left off. I'm going to keep going to the right. If you're left-handed, you can do it the opposite way. Dip my brush again, right where I left off. Dip my brush again, and just keep on going till there's no color, or very, very, very little color. And this is a value change. Now, if you want, you can try and go in and like smooth out some of the lines that will appear, like the sections from lifting up your paintbrush. If you want to go back in and rework those, you can. The only thing I would say to be aware of with watercolor is that when there is water and there is paint on it and you work your paintbrush back and forth, it will automatically, the paint will spread evenly across the water, which will then get rid of your value changes. So for example, if I'm putting my green here and then I have my lighter green and then I just work it back and forth, like just keep messing with it, it's going to even out into one value.
That's a problem I have a lot.
Yeah, it happens if you're used to like, if you just want to keep like messing with it, you know, but with watercolor, when you want that transition, you have to kind of just leave it alone. It just kind of takes some practice. Okay. All right, now, I'm wondering if we should go over color mixing in the warm-up or if we should just start.
Let's just start and hit it when we get to it.
Okay.
I base that on nothing.
Okay, I actually feel good about that, and
Good.
Meg said that she's having a hard time mixing her brown. It's either too green or not dark enough. Meg, if your brown is too green, add some a little bit of the orchid to it. That will tone down the green. Okay, let's just start. I think that's all the warm-ups we need to do for this project.
All these people on YouTube you're ignoring. Let's read their comments too.
Well, I can't. If you want to also look through theirs, you can. I think that's Keenan's job.
Keenan.
I don't read every comment.
Keenan, I think we might have a problem.
YouTube has great comments. I can read them if you'd like me to, as often as they come in, but they're fairly frequent. They frequent the YouTubes.
Okay, Michael, you watch YouTube. Be careful of your water cup falling over. Oh, also, this is great. Try not to leave your paintbrushes in your water while you're painting.
Yeah, I did that on purpose so you could.
I know you did. I'm right there with you. So whenever you're not using your paintbrush, just leave it on your paper towel even if there's paint on it. The reason why we don't want to leave our paintbrushes in the water is because they actually bend our bristles because they're wet. And especially with these smaller brushes like the round 2, leaving a round 2 in your cup overnight will ruin the brush because it will just completely bend it and it'll be really hard to get that point again. So don't leave your brush in for your water long periods. When you're not using it, just put it on your paper towel. Okay, let's get started. So I'm gonna mix a brown because my very first step is putting in the dark brown values on my cow. So
I think for all the people having problem mixing colors, I've thought about it a lot. I think the best way to get accurate colors is to marry a professional artist.
and then paint from her palette.
My browns are perfect, and I don't do anything about it. I just let her mix them up. So let's go ahead. Show me a brown. Let's see how to do this.
And again, the colors we're using are lemon yellow, yellow ochre, pine green, orchid, and space blue.
That orchid's legit too.
I know.
These are great colors.
It
Pick
is
great
great
colors.
Thank you. So I'm going to start off by grabbing some yellow ochre for my brown. Okay. Now this is a pretty decent brown on its own, but it's pretty light, and we want to darken it up and make it deeper.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do automatically is just start mixing in some other colors. It doesn't really matter which ones you start with. So let's say I take some green and mix it in there.
You're so bold. I think that's why you're a good painter. You just go for it.
I do just go for
That
it.
freaks me out. Right there, that freaks me out.
I know, but like the worst thing that can happen is you just don't like use this color and mix another one, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so now I have like a green gold, but it's so green. Like we can't paint a green cow. So now what I'm gonna do to combat my green, if you wanna tone down any color, just use the opposite. So the opposite of green is red. We don't have a red, but we have like a pinky purple, which is gonna serve as our red. So I'm gonna put that in there, okay? Now that toned it down to, this is probably a pretty decent black, okay? So this is a good black, however, we're trying to mix browns, so we need to warm it up. Browns have undertones of orange, red, yellow. Black has undertones of blue or purple or maybe green. So we need to warm it up. Now what's a warm color? Yellow. I'm gonna grab some yellow. Okay? And you just kind of keep making adjustments from there. And now what I'm gonna do is, that's a pretty dark color, I just needed a little bit more orange. So I'm actually going to mix an orange And you can see how to mix an orange here by using what's on the either side of it, red or yellow. So I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to take a little bit of this ochre. There's like an orange red. I'm going to mix that in there. Grab some yellow ochre, mix that in there. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. This is the dark brown we're looking for.
That's gorgeous.
Okay? And you can test it on your paper. So here's the color. And you could even say, you know, that's a brown, that's a pretty decent brown, but I still want it warmer. Nothing wrong with that. You can grab some more yellow ochre, put in a tiny bit of that orchid, maybe even some of this lemon yellow. And now it's slightly warmer. Do you see that? How it's just a little bit warmer?
Do you see?
Do you see? If you want to do another little mix-in of orange, you can. So here's some more orange, mixing that in.
While you're mixing, I got a joke for you from one of my new favorites, Chuck Grant.
Okay.
Says, what do you call a sleeping cow?
What?
A bulldozer. Chuck Grant. That's a hit.
Okay, so I feel pretty good about these browns. You can see this one's a little bit like warmer than this first one where we started off. This one has slightly more gray to it.
It's just gray to me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay. That's okay because sometimes you do want browns that have gray undertones. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like ones that have little warmer undertones. So
I like this sort of suggestion. Kimberly just says paint a green cow.
Kimberly, you figured it out.
Skip to step 5.
Skip.
Use the colors you've got without mixing.
Just
Green
use
cow.
green.
Green cow, pink eyes.
Now, before I start painting, I'm going to mix a little tiny batch of like this orangey color to like just in case I want to throw in some orange while I'm painting this.
And it doesn't matter if they dry out, right? You just dip some more water and get them wet.
Yeah, these will come right back up.
Perfect. Perfect.
Cindy said, why can't we just use brown, sepia, or golden brown? If you have those colors, you absolutely can. They just didn't come in the subscription box with this kit. I also thought it'd be super handy if you knew how to mix them. So here's my brown. I got my dark color. Now I'm going to start putting it in. So our darker,
Whoa.
our darker areas, we have some of these like fuzzies in the middle of our cow, like in the middle of the forehead. This is where hair is kind of gathered up, so it's a little fuzzier.
That's where the cows like the scratches.
Yeah.
Yep.
They also have like on the outside of their eyes where they're like, what are these called? Like the brow almost. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a shadow there. Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Susan says, does Michael realize what a genius Sarah is? Really, she is so smart.
I do. I tell her that all the time.
He does tell me that. But thank you. Okay. And then I'm going to also do, so basically these like marks that are in the middle, the top of the head here. Again, you don't have to follow the outline exactly. Don't stress if you miss a mark or you do an extra one. Okay? It's not a big deal.
Your painting's just ruined.
No.
I'm kidding. I don't judge and I'm having fun.
You can't say things like
I
that.
took the oath. I'm also fun.
Okay.
What about these right here?
And then, so these we're gonna leave alone for now, but like, you see these outlines right here, like on the middle of the nose? Can you, yes. You're gonna put some on the corner down here, on the inside.
People are wondering if this is where the word cowlick came from, maybe that little funky patch of...
Keenan, can you find out where cowlick came
You know what?
from?
I'm gonna go ahead and make it definitive. I think it's probably because like when a cow licks you, that's what it would do to your hair probably.
That's probably what it is.
Keenan's gonna find out for us.
Both.
Okay. So, step 1.
Alexa, can you check that? That's
She
Keenan.
was renamed.
That's Keenan. Oh, you have a real one?
Yeah,
Oh, I was trying to.
I know. It's okay. It was funny. Okay, now we're going to move on to step 2, which is we're basically going to blend out these colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and just use the color that's there and just start spreading color, okay? But here's the thing that I want you guys to realize is if I like doing this technique, but two things can happen. One of them is it doesn't blend out really nice and you have a really hard line. And the other thing is it's kind of a gray or desaturated color. So what I like to do to help combat that is I will grab a little bit of orange that I already mixed or some of this yellow ochre and have that on my brush to put in while I'm blending out. And look how much more colorful this is compared to that. Okay, so you're combating two things. You're putting in color depth that wasn't there before, and then because you're putting color down, it will cover up any hard lines you have from blending out and that line not blending out completely.
Am I blending out the unibrow too right here, or those stay?
You're gonna blend these out, but remember to lift up your brush. If you look in our reference photo, you'll see that there's a little bit of white highlights in that center and at the top. They're just tiny bit.
Okay.
The reason why we want to lift up our brush and show that is we want that highlight to show dimension.
Okay.
So I just want you to make your way around the cow, blend, and have a little bit of like orange or yellow on your brush, so then it's super colorful and has that like color depth that we're looking for on the cow. And Michael.
Gloria has kindly invited us to more paint, less talk.
Thank you. Okay, the one thing I want you to notice on Michael's, if you can see his here, is it's pretty wet. There's kind of a little bit of pooling on yours. You need to remember to wipe your paintbrush a few times off your cup before you put it to your paper, because you have a little too much water on your paper.
I love your motherly instinct to just snatch my brush from me. Michael?
Michael? Okay.
Okay.
So keep blending. So you're going to do the head except for the sides, which are white. So just keep blending and moving the color around and laying down. And again, if you're like me and you like to live on the wild side, you can do a complete drop of a color in there. Just be like, you are lemon yellow right here.
Boom.
And then blend it out. And then it's like, that seems super like strong and powerful. So if you want to like put another layer on top of it to tone it down, or you can just let it be. Sometimes I like just pops of color in a painting. It just adds something to it, you know?
I found the origin of the term cowlick.
Okay, what is it?
Michael was right.
It's when cows lick your hair.
The term cowlick originates from the domestic bovine's habit of licking its young, which results in a swirling pattern in the hair. The most common set of a human cowlick is in the crown, but they can show up anywhere, like mine on the right side of my head.
It's just right here. It's a nightmare. Yeah, I have an eye cowlick.
Okay, and I'm going to mix a little bit more orange because I just want that like extra little bit of warmth in my painting. See how like just dropping in that really golden orange just, I don't know, it just kind of really warms it up. Yes.
Just don't look at that guy.
No, you're doing a great job. All I would say is that, are you picking up colors before you're blending out?
No.
Okay, so this is great then. So, if you guys can see both of this, can they see overhead?
Yep.
So if you're not picking up colors as you're blending out, it's going to be that same brown that's just kind of lighter, which is fine. This is a fine brown. So if this is what color you like, that's totally great. If you want to add a little bit of color depth, have some color on your brush as you're blending out, and you're going to get these really warm, full tones.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Less water, more color. A little bit more water.
But hit it off the side of your cup.
I think I just feel bad getting my water so dirty. That's why I don't tap it. On the cup. You know?
Well, you have to, I mean, yeah, look how different our waters are.
I know. This is beautiful.
Would you like another cup of water?
No, that'll.
Do you need a clean cup just to have by you so you feel better?
A comfort cup?
Yeah, a comfort cup of clean
I
water.
just don't look at the dirty one. Just.
So, our cow is looking good, okay? I'm feeling good. Also, we're going to repeat that same step. But so, you're going to, and the darker values are kind of on the, because a Jersey cow.
Your mic is on the fritz.
Oh.
Batteries are full.
Is that better at all?
Hit it. Just hit. Don't hit it. I'm kidding. Don't hit it.
Okay.
It seems like it's feeling better.
What if I just leave it right there?
Sure.
Okay. So use the dark brown for the dark parts of your ears, and Jersey cow ears are like fuzzy. They have a little bit longer hair, I feel. So put that in there.
Fuzzy for scratches.
So it's okay if it's not a completely smooth line.
Solid.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I even got too wet just picking up color. Like, look how wet that is.
Where?
Like right here.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
But like it, yeah, okay.
Yes. I'm just gonna watch you paint to see how you're picking up the water.
Oh, now I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous, you're doing great.
Well, now I don't know what to paint.
Okay. So, now what I'm going to do is just blend out the brown. So remember to move that color that you already put down and also have a little bit of warm on your brush. I like to mix some orange in there. You can just do yellow ochre if that feels good to you. Now I am going to leave this space right here white because that's going to be like a pinker area for when, you know how when you look at animals' ears where it's just kind of skin colored, it has that like pink fleshy undertone? That's what the center of the ear looks like. Are you okay?
I'm peachy.
Okay, great.
I'm having a little bit of allergy wheeze.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to do the other ear now. Drop in some color.
The scent.
Oh,
What?
The scent may give them office.
okay. So we got our cow ears. We got our head. That was step 2, okay? What we're gonna move on to is doing the nose and the eyes. So we're gonna focus on mixing black, okay? So rinse your brush. Oh, Kimberly says, very nice camera work tonight, Keenan.
Oh, nice.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kimberly. Okay. So I already have a pretty decent black going on here from what I mixed before, but let's make some more just for people who weren't here. I'm gonna just grab some green. The opposite of green is red, which I'm using as our orchid is acting as our red. Even though it's not a true red, it's acting as a red. Okay. And then I'm actually gonna grab a little bit of this slate. I mean, not slate, the space blue, because I would rather my blacks have blue undertones than green. However, because we're mixing these colors, all of our undertones are going to be slightly different from each other, and that's okay. That's the cool thing about painting, is it makes it your own. But I'm just putting a little extra swoop of the blue in there. So when it's super concentrated, it's coming off as black, okay? So there, I mixed my black. And if you want purple undertones, then add a little bit more of the orchid in there, and that will create more purple undertones. Is everything okay on YouTube?
It's great.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by doing the darkest part of my nose first, which is the bottom part of my nose. So I'm just picking up that black that I mixed, okay?
Okay, time out.
Yeah.
I just got to get logistics right here, because you do this all the time.
Sure.
You dip the brush.
Yes.
Sopping wet.
Yes.
Tap on the side.
So you want to get rid of the excess water. So if you lift up your brush and it's dripping, way too much water. I hit it off the side of my cup a few times, so then it has a point. So even if it's not dripping and it's still like, that looks pretty full of water. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's not dripping, but it
Right.
still looks full. Hit it off the side of your cup till it no longer looks full and it has that brush shape, but it's still damp.
Okay, what I'm running into here is
Yeah.
I have been trying to like dry this off bone dry, and I still cannot get as dark of a value as you. Am I cursed?
No, you're not cursed. You have dark values here. So you kept your dark values here. Because we blended a lot, you lost the dark values, and that's okay. That happened. We will go back in and put those dark values back in.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's not a curse.
It's not a curse. You're okay.
It's just a bump from
And
the
I
road.
shouldn't dry them off on the paper towel before picking up color.
You can. So you can do one of two things. You can either hit it off the side of your cup back and forth, or you get it wet and just kind of what on your paper towel.
What?
Like back, forth.
I like what better.
What?
What?
Okay. So I put in the dark part on my nose, which is going to be the bottom part. Okay. And then I'm going to use water to spread that out. Like so. Oh, that's a pretty true black. Wow. Good job. Good job, team. Okay. Yep. And another thing that you can do, if you find that you have too much water on your paper. So if you're looking at my cow right now, I can see a pool on my paper, on my nose. Maybe, Keenan, can we do the side view of that?
I just did.
Perfect. So if you can see where it's pooling and it's thick, that's too much water right there. One thing that you can do is just get your brush, like wipe your brush off on your paper towel, lift up the extra water with your paintbrush, dry it off. Lift up the extra water, dry it off. Okay, so I'm getting rid of the excess water, and then I'll go back in and paint on top of that.
This one. Wait, did I promise not to compare? Or can I compare? I don't think I promised not to compare.
You did. You repeated every word, I made sure.
Theoretically, if we were to compare them, is this good enough? Is this good? Or would you?
Yeah, let's not say good enough.
Is this?
I think this is looking really nice. It's not too wet, but I just want to like smooth it out, the transition for you a little bit better. Okay, so now, and if you look at the cow, it has like this is what this circle is. It actually kind of has like a dark area right there. So I'm gonna go in with that dark, okay, and put that in. And then kind of blend out around there. Like so.
Okay, so YouTube is blowing up because they want you to demonstrate hitting the rim here so they can see what you're doing.
Okay.
And tip it a bit so they can kind of see.
Okay, so
Tip it like this way.
this way?
Yeah.
Is that better? So I get my brush wet and then I do this. So not only am I hitting it off the side, I also flip it to the other side and do both sides.
What?
Yeah.
Like that?
A little wrist rotate.
Yeah, so it's like.
They teach you that one in college. We didn't get that one.
So a lot of times people will just put their brush in ready to paint. This is too much water.
We call this Michael. This is Michael type
So this
paintbrush.
is not technically dripping right now, but you can see that the bristles are full of water, too much. Hit it off the side. And now it's damp. We know it's damp because it was just in the water, but the bristles have a natural shape as if when they're dry a little bit, they come to a point. That's the amount of moisture we want on our brush. Okay,
It's perfect.
helpful?
Oh,
Thank you.
testing you again. You passed.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna do the nostrils. So I am going to grab the black that I already mixed because I still have some. If you already ran out, don't stress, just mix some more. If they're slightly different from each other, that's okay. That happens to me all the time. I never let that bother me. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna leave a super thin white line in between the nostrils and the nose I just painted.
Okay.
And the reason why we want to leave a little bit of a line is because even though they're both black and both dark valued, we want to show that one is actually in front of the other. Because they're both super dark values, if we were to cover that little lip, they would blend in together and just seem like one flat thing. So sometimes you have to leave a little bit of an edge or a highlight on an edge to illustrate that they are two different planes, okay? So, and then we're gonna blend out. So I'm rinsing my brush similar to our warm up, hit it off the side of my cup, and then blend out the rest of the nostril. The inside of these like teardrop shaped nostrils should be the darkest part. The reason why they're the darkest part is because that is the part that goes all the way through.
Because that's where the cow keeps its evil.
No.
A lot of people don't know that. But you guys do. You're welcome.
Lois said, oh, I didn't know you actually brushed off the brush when you tap the water cup. Yeah, so when I tap the water cup, I'm actually hitting the bristles against the side of my cup. I'm not just tapping, tapping, tapping.
Tappy, tap, tap.
Okay, if you got to do another layer on your oh, that looks really nice. I love that one right there.
Domo.
If you need to do another layer on the inside of your nostril to just darken it up, I'm going to do that now, because that's where we really want the darkest value to be, because that goes all the way through them. Does that make sense?
All the way?
Well, like it's like the same as like your ear hole and your nostril hole. Like there's a little piece that actually goes all the way through, and then the rest, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm not going to go further into
Tell me more.
discussion. Okay, let's move to the eyes. We did our nose. We're going to give that a second to dry, and we're going to move on to our eyes. So I'm going to switch to my round 2. Grab your round 2.
Goodbye, round 6.
Grab your black.
Wet or dry?
You always want to wet your paintbrush first.
Let me try and reach to get a little closer.
Getting black?
Yes, pick up some black.
Bow, bow, bow.
Now, I want to show you guys a little trick that I like to use in watercolor, which is sometimes it's really hard for blacks to stay black as they dry because it's watercolor. So one thing that I've learned to do is I'm going to do the pupil. If I actually take only a damp brush, so no paint, I'm just using water. Using only water, I'm going to wet the area on the eyeball, okay? So that's nice and wet. Then I'm going to grab the black and drop it in that wet area. When I do this with the liquid watercolors, I do not know why, it usually stays darker than when I try and paint the water and the black on simultaneously. Now, it is also a little scary though, because it's going to take a little bit longer to dry since you use water first. So just be careful of not smearing.
Hey, there's Laura Jones.
Yeah, Laura Jones.
Hello, Laura. You sound lovely. Look at mine. Look at this cool thing. It's just on the top of the water.
Yeah. So just fill in the eyeball part with water. Your water will be colored because your water is dirty right now. That's okay, because we're just going to fill it with black anyway.
Palette looks spectacular.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you why I think this makes it darker.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this thing, and it's called capillary action, okay?
Okay.
So like if you were to dip this paper in water, it would leach the water up, right? If you dipped it in colored water, the colors leach up too, but they all weigh different amounts slightly, and so like you can tell what colors are in a paint by doing that. So what I think is happening is when you paint normally, the colors are leaching out. But when you drop it into an already wet thing, they have nowhere to go and they settle.
So they stay on the surface instead of getting soaked into the paper.
No. Instead of spreading, they fall on each other.
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like right here, I can tell like where this red came out because it weighs different than with this other color.
Uh-huh.
But even though they weigh different, there's nowhere for them to go, and they just fall on each other.
Okay.
Capillary action.
Cool. Science.
Fantastic.
Okay. Okay. So we did our black parts of the eyes. Now we're going to do the eyelashes. This one, I'm okay if they're a little bit lighter black. So I'm not going to do that whole water down first. I'm just going to paint them simultaneously. So I got my round 2. I grabbed black. And I'm going to start doing the lashes. However, I am going to try and keep the very thinnest, tiniest line in between the eyeball and the eyelashes because we don't want them to blend together.
Okay.
We want to show that they're different. Keenan, can we get a close-up?
Close up.
Okay.
Kenan, you're nailing it.
Thank you.
So I'm starting with the bottom lashes. They come out here, just keeping a super thin line. And then I'm going to go on with my
Girl, that is such a fine line.
top lashes. Now,
You're good at this.
if it makes you feel better to wait until your black eyeball dries before you do this part, you can. The reason why, the benefit of waiting is if it dries and you accidentally touch it, they won't blend into each other. If it's wet and you touch it, then they will just automatically mix because they're both wet areas.
Do you think years of eyeliner application has given you an unfair advantage in this?
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
mine is horrendous compared to you.
Well, we're not comparing work.
Theoretically, in an alternate universe, mine would be horrendous compared to yours.
You got to stop that or else you're not going to be allowed on this show.
You would do that to me?
Well, maybe.
The people will revolt.
Yes, yes, I would.
We will revolt.
Okay, well, here, I can help you. This is
No.
This is why I'm here.
Okay.
Let's take a look at yours.
He's having a hard day.
Okay. So, okay, this isn't bad at all, but you... Hold on.
This is called baffling your wife, and I'm great at it.
No, it's not baffling. I'm trying to explain what I'm thinking. So, I'm looking at your eyes right here. This one is really, really wet, okay?
Yeah.
A little too wet. So even though we do our water trick, we don't want to put down so much water that it takes like 30 minutes to dry. You know what I mean? You basically want a thin surface of water, and we don't want it to build or pool up. Okay, so I just soaked up your extra water. We'll drop in that black and let that kind of blend. Now, when you're putting this black part in the eye, you're also shaping your eyeball. So really pay attention to the actual shape that you're making with this black area. Okay? Okay, now we have our inky black. We're gonna leave that alone. Now, you made your line, which is great, and you can always go back in and thin it up. Stay on the safer side, which is the drier side, and just slightly bring it in, slightly. And then you're gonna do your top lashes. Try and bring this in too.
I bet you could do this just as delicately in a running car,
I don't think so.
because I've seen it in real life.
Okay, and then so here on this other eye, we want to remember, we want to look at the shape of our eye. So you didn't actually finish the other side of the eyeball. So we want to go in and finish the other side of that eyeball. Okay. So if you need to go in and thin up and like smooth out some lines, that's okay. And then we're going to put in our lashes. There are our top. Here are our bottom. Now we went a little bit outside our eyelid on this one, that's okay. If they accidentally connect, that's okay. Don't let that stop you. Because the great thing about our brain, which is hard when we're trying to make art, but great when other people view our art, is people's brains jump to conclusions, which is fabulous. They don't focus on the details. They're like, oh, that's a cow, great job. So don't trip yourself up over those small things that most people won't even notice.
So, I took a philosophy class, as you know, loved it.
Uh-huh.
There was this thought experiment about a boat.
Okay.
When you got a boat and you replace a part, it's still the original boat, right? You replace the mast and like all the sides, it's probably still the same boat. At what point is it not the original boat? I'm thinking that about my painting. Like I started this, if you finished it for me, could I still call it my painting?
I think you can call it a collaboration and call it your own.
But like just shorten that to my painting.
Yes, you can. I give you permission.
It's my painting. ...
Okay, so there are our eyeballs and our eyelashes. Okay, great job. First of all, great job, everybody. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the white shadows of the face. So on a Jersey cow, right above the eyes and on the sides of the heads, they kind of have this white area. However, even though it's white and our brain is seeing white, if you look at it closely, there's actual color on it. It's the same as when you think your teeth are white and you hold up a white piece of paper and then you're like, oh dang.
Never done it.
Oh, I for sure have done that.
Why disappoint yourself? That's not a comparison I want to make. You
But
know?
so what I'm saying is like even white on animals, even white clouds, even all of those things, they actually have shadow and color on them. Our brain just doesn't always register them. So I'm going to actually get a little bit of the black that I picked up and I'm going to pull it off to the side because I want to mix gray. So in order to make a lighter value, we like pull a little bit of color and use less paint. Okay, so now I have a gray. If I were to pull from here, that would be black. But since I just picked up a tiny bit, pulled it to the side, gray. Mm-hmm. Isn't that magical?
That is magical.
Okay. So.
I am Mr. Sarah.
Yes, you are. So what I'm going to do is I have these little V's right by the eyelashes, and I'm going to put the gray paint there. Okay. And then right underneath on the eyelashes, you're going to put gray there. And then rinse your brush and blend out. Now remember, there is going to be color to this. One, because your water is dirty, and two, because our gray actually has undertones of other colors, and that is okay. Okay?
I was using a 2. Keenan helped me.
Oh, you can use a 2 or a 6, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I'm using my 6 just because it fills in a larger
I
area.
think I'd like a 4.
There are 4s.
It's a happy medium, you know.
We have 4s.
We do, for sale.
Do I get the family and friends discount?
No, sorry. Just kidding. Okay, so I have like, and if you, sometimes when you blend out that shadow, that's okay. You can always go back in. And so we just want it slightly more darker right on that eyelid crease on the top and the bottom. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Gray little corner V thing right underneath the eyelashes.
I'm strategically painting because like I keep waiting for you to mix more gray for me.
That's smart. That's a good way to paint.
We've been married a long time. Got this figured out.
10 years.
10
That's
years.
crazy.
You're getting close though, Keenan. You guys are at 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, children. 10.
Okay, now at this same time, there are probably people watching who are like, I've been married 35 years, you know? Like that's nothing.
Fake news. We have the longest marriage ever.
Ever. So another thing I'm going to do at the same time is I'm actually going to blend out a little bit of this brown near the base of this white area. Just whatever you pull from is just fine. And that's because we have hard lines and sections on our painting, but most of the time if you look at real things, they're not like that. There's usually transitions, or maybe in a white area there's like a few areas where it still has tiny little yellow hairs. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of like to blend it out just a little bit, give it that more natural transition-y feel.
My paint is so dry it is not blending.
Okay, if it's not blending out, no problem. Pick up a little bit of the brown that you still have on your palette and put it on the sides of the face. Oh, Margie says it's her 25th anniversary today. Congratulations,
Dang,
Margie.
Babies, 33.
33 is
Wait,
Michelle.
What's that? Oh, Michelle.
Yeah. Good job.
We did go on a trip. We went all over Europe. We had never been out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
We landed in France.
Yep.
We went to Barcelona, which they pronounce with a TH, like Barcelona.
Barcelona, learned that.
Which was weird. Great place. We went to the Azores, which is where my family's from. Islands off Portugal. And then we went to Lisbon, Portugal. And then Chicago. Well, no. Boston.
We just had a layover in Boston.
Boston.
We weren't there very long. Okay. You guys, this is looking so good.
Dang.
44 years. That's awesome.
30 years.
Okay, Michael, I just want to say that I noticed on your cowl you actually didn't do the other side of the ears. So do you mind painting those really quick?
I can do that for you.
Thank you.
With this color?
Yes, brown. Or you can do yellow ochre if you need more yellow ochre.
Or you could
Teresa's
do green.
at 28 years. Ashley said her eyes bled into the white part. Okay, Ashley, don't freak out. Don't freak out. This is what you're going to do.
Freak out.
Take your paper towel, soak up the part where the black bled into the white, and try and do it immediately. That will get rid of the excess color, okay? So soak up that black that bled out. Then wait for it to dry. After it dries, go back in and re-blacken the eyes, okay? And then you should be okay. I do things like that all the time. It's okay.
YouTube's very hot and cold towards me right now. I'm having mixed feelings about that.
Maybe that's why I avoid YouTube, is they tend to be a little bit meaner. I don't know.
Some of them are nice.
Do they?
That's true.
Keenan, I don't know. You're the one that's watching it.
That's like saying there aren't as many cat genres as there are dog.
Cat breeds as
Yeah,
dog
breeds. That's the word.
We can't actually. Do you know
We know
there's
something
actually?
about cats. It's their genres.
You know what? Cats have a lot of breeds because I tried to figure out.
How many there were?
No, I tried to figure out a cat I was putting in a future box. By the way, there's going to be a
Oh.
cat coming up,
Oh, dear,
and I couldn't
sneak peek.
figure it out because there's a lot of different breeds. So sorry. Somebody can tell me.
I fixed it.
Okay.
We're done. I fixed it.
Good job. Thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to
Oh wait,
the.
are we gonna move?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
March just had her 51st anniversary. That's great.
Someone over here was married 54 years before her husband passed, and now she's on 4 years with her second hubby.
Oh, congratulations. So happy for you.
Good for you on both accounts.
Oh, somebody just asked, can you re-wet it to lift the color? Yes. Why are you answering these questions?
I'm just taking a stance.
No.
I'm trying to be helpful.
Okay. You can wet an area and then lift up color. Depending on how dark it is and how long it has been drying will inform how much color you can lift up, but it is possible. Okay.
It was a 50-50.
You're cracking me
I
up.
just chose wrong.
Okay, fifth step, we're gonna do our body now. So this is gonna be really general. We are not going into a lot of detail on the body because we want the focus and the detail to be on the face, okay? So I'm gonna grab brown, but I lost my brown. We used it all, so I'm just gonna mix some more. Yellow ochre,
You're bleeding into green over here.
some orchid. I can even, if I want, I can pull the blue, or I can pull from my black, but let's just put in some green. I'm gonna do some more orchid. Maybe a tiny bit of blue, and more green, and more of the ochre.
This person's been together for 35, married 17. They were high school sweethearts.
Oh, that is sweet.
Reminds me of my friend Max and Liz back home. They dated since like, I don't know, 6th grade maybe, like one of those. They're still together.
Good
I think
for
that's
them.
awesome.
That is awesome. Okay, so I have a dark brown again. I'm going to take that dark brown and I'm going to go along the edge of the ear with that dark brown.
Girl, that is a great brown.
Thank you. Okay. And I'm also going to go along the edge of the face. And the reason why we are making sure that that is a dark value is because whenever we want to push something back, for the most part, again, it depends on what you're painting and what your reference looks like. By pushing, you push something back by making it a darker value. So by putting in this darker value in between, like by the ears and the head, it's showing that it's actually farther away. And then as we blend out, it will turn into a lighter value. Of course, pick up some color when you blend out.
I went to the nose. Is that too far?
No, not too far at all. You can see in the reference photo it goes to the
About-
nose.
about that.
Yeah. If your body is a different brown from your face, don't stress out. Because if you look at mine is too. This is definitely more of a green brown where this is an orange brown. Because I'm noticing this though, I can go in and be like, okay, I need to drop in some orange and warm up this color so it matches my face. Nothing wrong with that. And also this has pretty strong yellow highlights too. So if I want some yellow highlights, I can drop some yellow in there as well. So again, as we blend down, we're just going to be using water. We just wanted a lighter value, essentially.
What are some things that frustrate you, you think?
In general?
Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of litterers. What are things that frustrate you?
I get really, really mad, and I know it's an accident, but I get mad when people accidentally step on the heel of my shoe when walking.
I know.
And it like, I have to remember that it's an accident and to breathe. And I don't know why, but like initially my first turnaround look is like, how dare you? And then I'm like, Sarah, it's an accident. It's okay.
It's happened to me very recently.
I know at the airport,
The airport.
I don't know what it was about Michael's suitcase, but I kid you not, it clipped my heels at least 32 times.
How
Yes.
did...
Because we
Where
I
have,
kept pushing it at her.
no, because we
kidding.
have one of those.
She's like, I don't know why.
Just
Michael's
kept
like, well, I was pushing it.
We have one of those suitcases where it's on 4 wheels, so you kind of walk it next to you and it rolls, and so we're walking next to each other, and it's like, I couldn't, I just had to like calm down.
That is awesome.
So my browns are slightly different color from my body and my head. It's okay. It's okay if that happens. What I try and do is I try to just incorporate a little bit of one of the colors, so then so it can like complement each other. So essentially I have a slightly different yellow. I'm going to mix a little bit of an orange and drop in a tiny bit of orange in this, because then it will complement this. It doesn't have to be across the entire thing. It can be just hints, and it will do the job, essentially. And if you need to put darker value in because you would it like blend it out, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's looking good. You're gonna get some textures on here. You're gonna get some blooms. You're gonna get some brush strokes. That's okay. Don't let it stress you out. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth.
Speaking of Jersey, remember that Jersey Shore show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
GTL.
Those people were crazy.
Gym, tan, laundry.
I haven't actually watched it, but we were just talking about it the other day.
Do you think they still have money? Like, do you think those people are just set for life?
I think one of them
I think it depends on how they
made
spent
money.
Snooki.
No,
No.
I think it was one of the guys because he became a DJ and made a deal.
Pauly D.
Yes.
DJ Pauly D.
DJ Pauly D. Yes.
It's a mouthful.
Okay, so there's our body. Good job.
Question from YouTube.
Yes.
What are blooms?
Blooms are essentially when you okay.
Make one.
Okay, so a bloom,
I don't have one. I want you to make one.
I thought you were showing me.
No.
Purple looks good.
So if you did a layer of watercolor, for example, and the reason, usually blooms don't show up until they're dry. So, but let's say you do a wash here, okay? Or maybe I'll try it right here on the screen. And then let's say I go in after it's already dry and put some water in there, okay? When this dries, this is gonna have a hard line right here where I introduce the water. So basically blooms are created when there's different water drying times in the same area. That can happen when you're, especially in this area. So let's say I blended this out. Look, you can see them actually right here. Keenan, can we get a close up on this? Tell me if I need to move my paper up or down or something.
We'll move it up a little bit.
Kenan, can we go ahead and get a close up, please? Aisle 4.
Okay. Now point at aisle 4.
Okay, so here's a bloom. It's where there's a hard edge. This happened because I dropped a lot of water in this one area, and so it dried differently than what was around it. You can create blooms by dropping in water or color in different places and just letting it dry and not blending it out, okay? Also, just so you guys know, Canson watercolor paper actually tends to create blooms a little bit easier than other papers. That's part of the reasons why I enjoy working with it, because I like blooms. I think they create really interesting textures. If blooms really frustrate you, then try a heavier weight paper that's 100% cotton. It takes longer to dry, which therefore eliminates the need for, or the chance for blooms. Okay. Oh, Cindy says blooms are created when water diffuses from high concentration to low concentration, if that's easier for you to understand.
Cindy, you're my kind of person.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the very last step. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put those pink back in the, we're gonna put the pink back in the ears. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a damp brush, grab a tiny, 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 tiny bit of orchid and tiny, tiny bit of yellow to create kind of a pink, peachy color. And I'm just gonna go in with this peach color on the white part. The red part is gonna be closest to the top part of the ear, and then I just take water and blend out that pink color. Okay. And do the same thing on the other side.
What are some things that people do, like strangers, that you really enjoy?
I love when, wait, what's your example? Because you said littering right off the gate.
I like seeing people holding hands.
Oh, yeah. I love watching people dance or sing in their car, especially when they don't know that anyone's
or pick
watching.
their nose.
Well,
That's always a gem. When you get someone just really digging for one. You know?
I don't enjoy that one as much.
I like that one.
I like watching people dance and sing because I feel like when you dance and sing, like for me, it's like an act of joy, and I think it's really cool to see that because it's hard for us, especially as adults, to just like sing and dance and go for it because it's like weird to put ourselves out there. But I just like watching when people are just like going for it.
Joy? What is
joy?
I don't know this word.
Okay, there's the pink of our ears. Now what I'm gonna go do is I have the white of my nose, but I think it's too white. And sometimes when an area is too white, it distracts from our painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color that's already there, and it's gonna be a very, very light color, but I'm just gonna spread that around my nose and soften up these white areas. Now also I would like to say, pay attention to how thick your white line is between your nostril and the top of your nose. You can always go in and adjust it. Mine is a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna go in and thin it out just by moving that white line over a little bit, and I'm using my 2.
You know, being with you puts me in a good mood.
Michael, if I said heed to you, would you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Heed.
Heed,
I thought you told me to
heed,
stop.
move.
Stop in fancy British.
Oh.
No, heed. No, I'm sorry, I married an axe murderer. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is my heed in the way?
It was 100%.
Am I balding? How's it look?
No, you look
No,
great.
you look great.
You got hair.
Keenan, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. You're my favorite native Missourian.
Oh,
sure.
now we're gonna see who actually watches the live.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we finished off those things. So I blended out my nose so it's not stark white. I have my ears. Now take a second and step back from your painting. Look, or at least like for me, I'm not gonna step back, but I'm gonna try and look far away and see what I can do to make some adjustments to kind of bring it together. One thing that I noticed automatically is I can go back in and actually darken up some of these spots that I lost while I was blending them out. So that's what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna grab some brown and just kind of go in and like re-put in some of these dark shadows that might have disappeared. Your painting may not need this. Remember, you are the only one that can see what you're doing. So just because I'm doing it doesn't mean that's necessary for your painting, and don't be afraid to not listen to what I'm saying. I give you permission to ignore me. not you.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Michael. You
Now
have
the
to listen.
turntables have.
The turntables have
have
turned
turned
table. What's it from? I don't know.
The Office. What does he actually
doesn't
say?
finish it. He says,
How the turn.
How the turntables have.
That's it.
That's it.
And they just cut the scene.
Kay Donnelly said, just got on. He is gorgeous. I hope she's talking about me.
She is for sure.
Look at his face.
Okay. Michael, how do you feel about yours? Is there anything you want me to go over with yours?
I do not like how my third eyebrow turned out. I'm
Okay.
real excited to see how this dries.
Third eyebrow.
Okay, let's actually check in with Michael and see what we can do to help that third eyebrow.
Whilst you were talking about blooms, I decided to get a little crafty and make some here.
Yes.
These are all blooms. So he just went in after he painted this and did water drops. That's what all of these texture lines are.
You know what? YOLO.
YOLO, that's for sure.
That is a muscly cow.
Okay.
Just yoked. Get it? Yoked.
Yo.
Okay. So one thing I'm going to do is it looks like when you blend it out on the side of your nose. Are you listening to me?
Yeah.
You're just reading the
Are
comments.
you listening to me?
There's no difference between this side and this side, and we want to keep the shape of our head a little bit more. So I'm going to go back in and put in that nose. Okay. At the same time, I'm going to do the brow. You just need to curve it. This was a really strong vertical line. You got to soften that
My cow's mad.
because cows have curved eyes.
My cow is mad at the
Eyes are round.
insensitive nature in which he was treated.
Oh, well, that's fair.
She.
That's fair. Okay, so I'm just going to go back in.
He's all beefed up.
Darken up that.
Beefcake.
Also, this is another example of where brains like patterns, okay? Because your brain automatically did this, where this is the same space between each other. This is a very strong pattern here. And whenever you do fur textures or extra textures like this is what your brain is going to tell you to do, okay? You have to ignore it.
It's like a mohawk.
Yeah, it does a little bit, which if you're going, you can leave that if you want. But I catch myself doing that sometimes, and one way to combat that is to mess up that pattern. And just be like, okay, now here's a little curly guy. And here's a little curly guy over here. And you want to mess up that pattern and flow. It's really hard to like ignore that part of your brain, so don't be mad at yourself if it keeps doing that. A lot of time, it's what it automatically does. So there's nothing wrong with you. That's how your brain is supposed to be. Okay, so, and then I'm actually going to go in and reshape your nose a little bit more, because when we blend it out, we lost our different values and they kind of evened. Can we get a close-up on this nose, Keenan?
Consider it done.
Okay, so, and if your cow ends up looking like this, don't be mad and throw it away. You can do another layer right on top and put those dark values back in, which will reshape your nose. So, I'm going to grab some black. And I'm going to put in, I'm going to reshape my mouth. The darker values are on the sides and then at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to put in my nostrils.
Hey, while you're painting, people want to know, like, when you get your paper real wet and it starts buckling, is there anything you can do?
Sometimes what people do is after it dries, they'll iron it. They'll, like sometimes I smash mine in a textbook. One thing that you can do is you can actually tape your paper down before you start painting. That will help alleviate some of the buckling.
Okay.
Or you can just use a different kind of paper. So because this is Canson, it's not 100% cotton, which means it doesn't hold water maybe as well as some other watercolor papers. I like Canson because of the balloons, and also that doesn't bother me as much because I usually just do like one painting on the entire paper, so it doesn't buckle too much. If it's super frustrating to you or you want to do like landscapes that are pretty water heavy, you will want a heavier weight paper that is 100% cotton. Like Arches, we sell that on our website. There's also bee paper, there's Stonehenge, which is really great. So you can try out different papers.
Could you like sandwich it in some parchment paper and turn your iron on low and iron it flat?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I just said some people iron it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I was reinforcing what you said.
I know you were.
It's been a long day.
Also, were you listening to her?
Are you listening to me?
Okay. Okay. So there I just went back in and put in darker values on the nose, which reshaped it. Because before it was looking a little bit flat. Now it has those different dimensions.
I do feel like just because of maybe the shading on mine or something, it looks more like a baby than yours.
Yeah. I wonder if it's your eyes actually. Your eyes seem larger than mine. Okay, are we ready to hold it up? How should we do this, Keenan?
Oh.
Cameraman.
This is song.
Here, what if I just do overhead one at a
A
time?
description of, yes,
Okay,
sure,
does that work?
yes.
Is that okay? Okay, oh, we can probably put ours in at the same time.
You do one of these
Bam.
if you want.
Wait, does that fit in the overhead, both of ours? Can you see?
How about this?
Yeah, it does.
Like this.
Let me move the picture in picture, and I can.
You know what? I like mine.
I like yours too.
There you go.
Yeah.
I actually really love the body on yours. That color brown is really nice.
It was a total accident, but thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Well done.
very cool. Do you mind if I pan on yours to show them something?
Sure.
Okay, one thing
Can I
is,
paint on yours?
sure,
I'm
if
just kidding. I would never.
you can. If you accidentally get blooms and you don't like them, you can try and soften up the lines that you get from blooms. So you can take a damp brush and try and work the paint back and forth. It will not get rid of the line completely. It will soften it. So if you're like, dang, I really like this, but I don't like how there's that really strong line there. It's super distracting. I don't like that texture. Go in, smear it around with the damp brush, and it will just soften them, hopefully enough to where it won't bother you anymore. So I just softened that area a little bit so it's not those harsh lines. What?
I did those on purpose.
I know, that's why I asked if I could do it though. Should I have asked you what I was gonna do
Yeah.
before?
Do you care if I demonstrate something? I'm like, sure. Just like, when you mess the whole thing up, you can throw it away and start over.
Debbie said maybe do a month with different papers. Debbie, that is an excellent idea. And actually currently we are working hard to plan for fun little extra things that we can include in subscription boxes so you guys can try other materials. So that is a great suggestion. I will keep that in mind. And just so you know, we are working towards something like that because that just will make the box even more fun, I think. So,
Possible.
you guys are so great. Thank you so much for painting with us. If you've painted, share it. You can post it on Instagram, tag us in it, Let's Go Make Art, or hashtag Let's Make Art. If you want to start sharing your work, but you're scared to do it on your personal information page or whatever, you can join our Facebook community. It's separate from our business page. It's called Let's Make Art Watercolor. Very wonderful place.
Or
What?
start an alternate life,
Okay.
make all new friends,
Uh-huh.
have a new family,
Yes.
and post on that account.
Yes.
That's easy too.
Yes.
I like that.
If you want to do that quickly and not invest in all of that second life, though, join Let's Make Art Watercolor.
Or that.
Very safe community, very supportive. We accept and embrace people of all stages, and just a really great place. You guys are amazing. Our Let's Make Art Matter for June will be posted this Friday, so keep an eye out for that.
Those are the best.
Those are the best.
Those are something I like that people do.
Me too. You know what? Good. What's something you like that people do? Paint postcards for other people. That's what I like.
I'm a simple man.
Okay, so Keenan, thank you. You did awesome. Michael, you're the greatest. I love you. And I will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
And we release a new tutorial tomorrow. Okay, bye.